Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Time for a little movie. This has been a huge week, massive week. I've had Senior Gottwall's bike in here. You may have seen a post that I put up about her. A truly impressive young lady. She's ridden nearly 40,000 kilometres to get to here in Australia, and she's had some interesting experiences with her bike. She had a clutch replaced in Kathmandu, which we've fixed. Some work done in Iran, which result of a car accident, which resulted in all kinds of strange things in terms of wiring underneath the dashboard, broken headlights and plastics and all sorts of stuff like that. We've had a drive shaft crack up, which has been replaced with a red centre type drive shaft from Emerald Isle, which John Olive and Motor Rally Imports has given for cost, along with a lot of other things like rotors and all sorts of stuff. And my sincere thanks go to John and also to Jeff from Solo Engineering. The BM shop, Munich Motorcycles in Western Australia, I've got to say, are cherries. They are the best service, the best help, the best everything. They are great. You can buy cheaper overseas at times, but I'm telling you, if you've got a BMW, you live in Australia, you buy parts in Australia and you do your own maintenance, buy them from Munich. Because if you don't support them, they will go broke like everybody else in Australia, and we won't have that magnificent resource anymore. They are great people, truly great people. So it's been a big week. I'm very tired. We've had a lot of things to fix on this bike, and we're up against a visa that's running out. So this morning, when I thought I was on top of it, I rebuilt the gearbox. It had no circlip in it. Jeff from Solo Tooling did that for me. I got a new brass bush for first gear. It was 1.5 thou too big to fit inside the gear. He turned that down for me. We've done all kinds of stuff. Right. This morning we're doing the tappets, and I went to tension the head, and out came the right-hand top stud. It was already on its way. It was loose and rattling. And at that point I thought I was going to cry, to be honest with you. So anyway, we did the other side. We found it had been helicoiled. We had some issues with the helicoil on the top left-hand side. I backed that out and re-tapped it and put in a 2x helicoil. There was a 2x helicoil in there, but I don't know what was going on, but it was very squashy. Anyway, it's great now. It feels fantastic. My way of fixing these things, I just thought I'd show you something, right? So this is a helicoil setup. It's for an M12 outer, M10 inner, which is what your studs are. And this is what comes in a standard kit, right? So you get the drill bit, the tap, the insertion tool and the snap tool. That's a standard 1x helicoil, right? I put them out here on the thing. There's a 1x. If you're ever going to use a helicoil to do one of these things, you must use a 2x. You can buy a 2.5. You have to order them. They are marginally better. They're about 5mm longer. This here is a plug that I have made by Jeff at Solo Tooling. I get them made in lots of 20. It has an M10 thread on the inside. It has an M14 on the outside. Now there are all kinds of washer counters and arguers and different things who come up with various stories, but before I had this done, I went and saw a structural engineer friend of mine. I did all sorts of thinking about it, and we calculated the surface area on this at a full depth, and I forget the numbers now, but it was miles out in front. So I had them made, and then my very great friend and dear friend and mentor Michael Schneering and I sat down and worked out how to make a jig. So we've made this out of an old cylinder that we cut down. It has a removable sleeve in the bottom so we can flip it end for end. And by doing that, we can bolt down on 2 diagonal holes. Where are they? Yep, this hole here takes your tapping drill as a guide. And this hole here takes the tap. So what you do is you set it up vertically like that, because the holes aren't square, they're oblong. You set it up. That was on the right hand front top. So we set it up, we drilled it. I packed the crankcase with lots of rags, lots of grease on the drill, and it took me a long time to drill it slowly, and we managed to do it without getting any swarf anywhere. And same with the tap, you then turn this out, flip it diagonally. That's what the spigot's for. You can swap it side to side, run the tap down, and it has to go in the hole the same way as well. I've got a little tiny socket that goes on the end of that and it clears the hole all the way down. I put it in about probably a bit more than half the way, then take the jig off and then tap it from there. And this thing here then goes in full depth, right? So it goes right through the block. It's machined, it's not a piece of threaded booker rod or something. It's actually a proper machined stud. It's been properly cut in the engineering shop. And now I'm going to pause this and I'll show you the outcome. So here we are. There's the insert. What I do is I just cut away the top of it. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. So that when I screw it, I dry fit it first, mark it, relieve the top. Now I could screw it down a little further and clear the hole like a lot of the time certs and that do, but I wanted to have the maximum amount of thread on the sleeve in the block in alloy, so we've only lost maybe half a tenth or a little more of one thread on the top. The rest of it is all full depth all the way through, and it's been put in now with green Loctite. I've had that in my bike for some 30,000 kilometres. I've had zero issues with them. I've also used time certs and big certs. I just think, and I'm quite confident that there are other engineering people who will think that this is a better result. It gives a much bigger surface area for that insert to pull against, and there's still plenty of meat left in the block. So other than that, we've got, hang on and I'll show you. My desk is an absolute shambles, trust me, but the gearbox is all been calculated and ready to go back together. Brand new housing out of Munich's in Western Australia. These ears were cracked on one side here and stressed, and this one was virtually ready to break off as well from being over tightened and over squeezed. Obviously it's a Kickstarter model. We have a new alternator there, courtesy of John Olive again, to go in there. It's got a new diode board, it's got a new rectifier. Down here on my battery, don't mind the mess, hey boy, my shop is a shambles, I'm telling you. So here we are, gearbox is all back together, all ready to be shimmed. The shims are calculated, everything's ready to go together there. That'll be tomorrow, and hopefully by Monday this bike will be out on the road and purring. I've also got the carbies apart. I've just soda blasted and ultrasounded those today. There's a collection of bikes in here in varying states of shambolic display, but anyway, that's my shop. There it is, there's the bike. She is leaving. I will miss her. She's quite a charming and lovely lady. She's absolutely joy to have as a customer, and it's probably why she's managed to get 40,000 kilometres around the world without somebody stealing her, I would say. So there you go. That's another week in the Boxer Works. I hope you enjoy this video. Stay well, ride safely. Until we talk again.